Welcome, everyone. We are live. We are live, y'all, and it is Tuesday. I cannot believe it is Tuesday already, but it is. I find that sometimes I can be a little bit dramatic, a little bit heavy in the mornings. And today, I was laying here and I said, we're going to pull a Ned Flanders, if you've ever seen The Simpsons. You know how they always say, I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Uh-huh. Yeah. And I've been telling you that joy is not just something that we fabricate. Joy comes from a place of knowing what you are capable of and what you have been given. Look, my boy and I are like those two old men in the balcony on the Muppets. That's what we're like. We had an errand yesterday and we're walking arm in arm, and I'm realizing that teenage children, now, where I live, most teenage children have long hair, especially the boys, and they always have it like flipped to the side and all and hiding their face. I think you call it emo. And I'm looking, all of them look the same way. For all the ones we saw yesterday, they all look the same. Got the hair hiding their face, or they're wearing a hoodie, and they just look so forlorn. They just look so forlorn. And I'm like, what is it with our teenagers? But I suppose when Mother Nature has all these hormones roaring through your body, it is a lot. And so I understand why they feel the way that they do. And I just started to giggle, because they're so cute. But they think the whole world is crashing and they feel so overwhelmed. And I get it. And I said to my boy, I said, I understand. I understand why you feel the way that you do. Right? And he's like, well, yeah, well, how are you supposed to deal with all that? I said, you don't deal with it. It's nothing to be dealt with. You embrace this phase of your life. You just do. It's the stage that you're at. And the joy in knowing that the stage you're at, pardon me, the joy comes from knowing it's not permanent, right? When you recognize that what you feel in that moment and you recognize it for what it is, you remove the overwhelm because there's this knowing. Think about it for a minute. If we had to just bear the brunt of it all, bear the burden of living, oh my God, the trials and the tribulations. If we had to deal with that day in and day out nonstop, I think we'd go nuts. But the fact that we get to recognize what we're dealing with, you recognize sadness, you recognize happiness, you recognize, quote unquote, a struggle. The moment you recognize it and you say, wait a minute, I'm in a phase right now. I'm going through this phase. This phase, and listen, if you could be in my head for like 30 seconds, there's always a movie line for everything. I remember, and I always say the line when I'm having a difficult time with something, say, you cannot defeat me, and because, and I say that to myself and I start to laugh because then I realize this is just a situation. It's just a situation. Mind you, I put the situation here, or I put myself in a position to come across the situation, but nonetheless, it is a situation. And I am not beat down by the situation because the situation has to bend to my will, right? And these are things I remind myself of on a daily basis. If I'm learning something new and I start to get a little frustrated, I say, "Oh, Angela, come on. Come on, just get it." And I'm like, "Whoa, slow your roll, girl. Slow your roll. You just learning this thing. Relax. Speed comes with the more you do it. All you got to do is remember each step and be thorough in your remembering, and you will be just fine. Now, what's your next step?" That's how I talk to myself because I know that I have the principles to guide. I know that I have the principles to comfort. I know that I have the principles to teach me, right? And if you wanted to look through the lens of the Bible, you sure could. You sure can if you wanted to. And so when like I told you guys on Sunday, I was with some lovely people, and the scripture that came to mind was, "Thy word I have hidden in my heart that I may not sin against thee." First of all, remember what sin is. Missing the mark. You did not accomplish what it was you set out to do. That is sin. And when you don't meet your objective, sometimes it can rub you the wrong way and you can feel totally stressed about it. But then you remember the most important thing. Thy word I have hidden in my heart. That's what King David said. Now, why would you hide the word in your heart? First of all, the word is a treasure, and you hide it in the most readily accessible place there is, your heart, your memory. You commit the principles to memory. That's what it means, to hide something in your heart. You commit it to memory so that you can always use it, thereby meeting your objective. And so that scripture for me, when I say thy word I have hidden in my heart, every time listen, whether I'm driving, whether I'm showering, whether I'm cooking, it doesn't matter what you are doing, apply the principles. Now, if you're new here and you don't know what the principles are, mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation, or the universe is mental, which means everything originates in the imagination. Absolutely everything. And what occurs within? Well, as within, so without. As above, so below. Why? Because everything is moving. Nothing stands still. And it moves through the poles. So polarity. Not because they're opposites, but they are the same in their nature. For example, the mango seed and the mango are the same thing, just at different stages in polarity. So you move from seed to sapling, to sprout, to flower, to fruit, but you're the same in your nature. See? And so from that polarity, now this rhythm that you can see, the rhythm helps you to recognize what you're looking at. Because the rhythm is a pattern. If you walk along the shore at any given time of the month, if you know the rhythm of the moon, You know what stage you're at. Yes, I just whistled, but you'll be fine. Uh, and from that rhythm, you'll be caused to do something. Well, a high tide will cause you not to walk on the shore because you can't. A low tide will cause you to go digging for clams because you can now access the shore. So the rhythm or the pattern brings about a cause, and every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. But then we get the principle of gender. Gender, you say? You mean man, woman? No, I mean masculine, feminine. Not to be confused with man, woman, or boy, girl. You can't apply man. You can't apply girl. You can't apply woman. You can apply the principle of masculine, though. The principle of masculine is to generate an idea, to come up with an idea. That is masculine, and everybody comes up with ideas. Whether that idea be good, bad, or indifferent is irrelevant. We all generate ideas. And when you generate an idea, it does not stay within you because it cannot. Everything is moving. And it always moves from the invisible, which is within, to the outside, to material. So in order for you to get it from the inside to the outside, you've got to put it somewhere. You've got to plant it. And you plant it in the womb of your mind. Mental impregnation. And so once you plant it, that which is planted, right, where you plant it is feminine. Because the very action of giving something form is feminine. Feminine gives something a shape that you can interact with. Remember, you're taking it from invisible, which is masculine, to generate the idea. And you're moving it to the womb so it can be planted, so it can do what? Bear fruit. So the womb, your mind, the fertile soil of your mind is the womb. And then it takes shape, as within, so without. So you see, it is absolutely phenomenal, the principles. And if you have those memorized and you walk with them every day, now, as I've always told you, one of them will stand out to you more than the others. And that's perfectly all right, because the one that stands out makes you do all of them anyway. So you can't escape it. So the solution, where that joy comes from, is in the application of the principles. Oh, indeed. You see, now when you tell somebody they can heal themselves, automatically they look at you like, they give you the side eye, you know? No, you can't. That'd be a miracle. Well, a miracle is just another word for the law unknown. You gotta call it something. So you call it a miracle. It's not a miracle, it is law, it is principle. Because as within, so without. If your neurological pathways are wired for doom and gloom and despair and illness, you cannot be surprised when you fall ill. You're the one planting the seeds and nurturing the seeds of illness. But what if you decided to plant seeds of joy and peace and happiness instead and persisted in that? Well, a spring cannot bring forth bitter and fresh water at the same time. So if you now said, you know what, this spring of my life, I am going to plant these types of seeds, well, then it stands to reason that the body must be a reflection of the thoughts, of the mood. And so if the body is the reflection, and you have healthy thoughts within, healthy moods within, then the body must bear witness. So you can't have sickness and health in the same body. Because a house divided against itself can't stand, can it? So the way to heal oneself, change your thoughts, change your mood, and persist in that. Well, Angela, you make it sound so easy. Everybody be doing it. Medical fields be going out of business. Well, if I can convince you that you're somehow broken and you believe it, well, and everybody stays in business, eh? You see the difference? How did it get to be about business as opposed to being? That's for another day. But you understand what I'm saying to you. You memorize these principles and you walk with them in your bosom, your heart. Everybody has a bosom. It's your chest, hello? So you walk with them there. And you know that whatever and wherever you go, whatever you do, and you sang it, didn't you? Good old Richard Marx. You will know that, wait a minute, I am capable of so much more. So when you hear Psalm 23 and it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why not? Why wouldn't you fear it? Because you know something. What do you know? You know the principles. You know that whatever you go through, you can make it. That's what you know. Because see, when we don't know, what do? We stop in the valley and we moan our situation. But if you know the principles, you can say, wait a minute. Keep on moving. Keep on grooving. Right? That's what you say. You keep on moving. Shoot a bye-bye. Do a bye-bye. I couldn't help myself. That song is awesome. Let your body move. Miss McQueen, you know that song. But that's what you do. Because you know. You know the principles and you know how to apply it. You see, we apply them naturally every single day. But when you're learning them, you got to break it down so you know how to apply. And you can see in your life that you are applying them every single day. Every day you ask yourself, shoot, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? You're always asking yourself that. And that is always step one. And step two, you begin to experience in imagination what you'd be doing in reality if you did number one. You're like, you know what? Man, if I had this, I'd do that. Or if I go here, I know I'll feel amazing. Yeah. So you see, you flow right into step three. You feel good about the decision that you've made. We do it naturally. All day, every day, those three things. See, this is the beauty of living, you know. This is where the joy comes from. Knowing. That's where the joy comes from. You can't force joy. Can't fake your joy either. But when you recognize and apply the principles, joy is the result. Joy is the what now? The effect. Hello? And the cause? Knowing the principles. So you see, we don't escape cause and effect at all. So today, my beautiful friends, as you go through this day, take with you the knowledge and the application of said knowledge, and know that whatever the situation is, you can apply the principles. You see, the principles also teach us not to be reactionary. How, you ask? Well, to be reactionary, we're not being deliberate. You say, oh no, how did this happen? Oh, that's reactionary. But to apply the principles deliberately, you make the world bend to you. So you're not caught off guard by quote unquote situations because you know you brought about the situation. So the law teaches you to be wise, to make wise use of how you're going to bring about certain situations and not bring about others. See? That's what the more you practice, that's what you learn to do. You learn to make beautiful things. That's what you learn to do. Neville Goddard always said it. He said, use the law lovingly, right? When you use it lovingly on behalf of yourself or another, it means you're being deliberate to bring about a very specific or particular things instead of living just blindly and saying, oh no, how did this happen? Oh no, where did this come from? See? When I tell you that I love you, I'm not just saying it because I can talk. I'm saying it because I understand the principles. And to share them with you every single day is a privilege. And I don't take it lightly either. Shoot, can't take it lightly at all. You can't. Because there's so much writing on it. Yes. You see, every time we turn around and we look into the world and we see the state of the world, right? When you see the state of the world, sometimes we want to get a little overwhelmed. Sometimes we want to get a little sad. Oh no. Oh no. That's what we say. But if you can remember to apply the principle, you will change the world that we live in. Yes, indeed. You don't fret and complain about the state of the world. Apply the principles, which will, because they're within you, they'll be mirrored on the outside. And that's how you change it, by projecting your generated idea out into the womb of the world so that the world can give it shape. That's what we do. So don't worry about what the world looks like. Think about, what do I look like on the inside? What am I projecting into this womb of the world? And now you see where that joy comes from? You'll know. Because you'll see it and you'll feel it in your bosom. And you'll encounter the people. And it'll make us say, oh my God, it's going through such a shift. What a paradigm shift. Please, it's not a paradigm shift. It is humanity doing what? Taking responsibility for what they put into the world. But again, us humanity and our fancy words. Paradigm shift. Yeah. Nah. It is just you and I putting beauty into the world. And in order to put beauty into the world, you must have beauty where? Oh, as within, so without. So you see, my beautiful friends, as we go through this day today, your joy is not artificial. Your joy comes from the knowing the principles and how to apply them at will, deliberately. Because you're never stuck and you never have to face anything alone. Because you've got the principles. You can look at the situation and say, oh no, I don't like this one. What do I want to become? Because this one is not cutting it. What do I want to become? And you begin to see in your mind's eye what it is and who it is you want to become. And as you see it in your mind's eye, it invokes a feeling deep within you. It rouses you from slumber then. And it feels so good. It is all you can talk about, sing about, breathe about. So much so that that new thing that you're learning forms its own neurological pathway inside your brain. And then voila, before you know it, it is second nature for you to live in such a fashion. And then that which was once invisible within you now becomes visible on the outside. Listen, and sometimes you may not believe me, but think about the seamstress. Think about the tailor. Think about that. Listen, everybody's probably vying to be the one to make Zendaya's dress. Do you know why that is? That's the principle right there. Right there. Because each and every one of them has to be able to see her in their mind's eye. And in their mind's eye, they get to drape her in the finest of fabric. They don't see her physically. They see her mentally, and they design based upon the mentality that they have of her. So that such time they will send a design and say, I thought of you. They thought, you see, the thought was invisible at first, but then the thought materializes where? In the form of a big box and a dress in it. So technically speaking, that dress materialized from where? Thin air, you could say, because it was invisible to everybody. So you see, you and I have thoughts that we think are invisible to others. But given enough time, that seamstress or that tailor has to go and get the fabric, all the measurements, blah, 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 the pattern, whatever, and they make it. That is what you and I do. The chef does it. The sculptor does it. The teacher does it. What do they start with as teachers? The end result. What do you want each child to know? And then they build the curriculum accordingly. You always work your way backwards. This is why it is essential for one to know what they want. That is the end. So when Neville Goddard says to you, go to the end, this is what he means. What is it that you want? In your mind's eye, see it there because it is done. The moment you see it in your mind's eye and your feeling confirms that that is what you want, you now have a pattern. And that pattern, if you persist with the attitude that matches that pattern, it is only a matter of time. It is only a matter of persistence that what was once invisible now becomes visible. Sometimes every time I see every time I see that cyber truck, I say to myself, I don't know who was thinking, but they really weren't thinking straight because there were way too many angles on this bad boy. It's a good thing it's electric because it wastes gas because it's not ergodynamic at all. What you know, but that came out of the imagination. Mind you, it should have stayed there, but I digress. The point is, everything begins in our minds. Everything. That's where it all begins. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. It always starts within. And if you can remember that everything starts within, the next time your hip hurts, the next time your toe hurts, you will understand that is just the physical manifestation. But what is the mental cause? See? Anyway, Don't let me prattle on in here. It's a little early for that. And I told you I was going to be lighthearted today. I tried. I really did. I really did try to be lighthearted today. But I just want you to know that whatever situation it is that you are presently facing at the moment, look at it. Do not pretend that it isn't there. That's the fastest way to get yourself locked up in a mental institution. Don't you pretend that that shit's not real. Hello, it's in your life. You're looking at it. So that's where you start. You look at it and you say, I don't like that. Well, that's great. What would you prefer instead? Because we don't waste time on the complaining. That's not what we want to do. You just want to acknowledge the problem. Acknowledge the problem, yes? And then you decide, what is it that I would prefer to be instead? Instead of being a coward, what would I like to be? Oh, courageous, yes? Good. Now that you know you want to be courageous, you ask yourself, what would I be doing if I were courageous? Well, that's wholly dependent upon you. What would you be doing if you were courageous? And you will start to notice a whole bunch of scenarios come to mind. Well, if I was courageous, I'd do this. If I was courageous, I would do that. If I was courageous, I'd do this, and this. But one of them will stand out to you the most. One of those things, one of those scenarios is going to stand out to you the most. And when that one stands out to you the most, that's when you snatch it and you say, gotcha. That's the one. And you see how it makes you feel now? Because it's the one you want. And it begins to make you feel good. Remember, it is still invisible. And that is all right, because that's where everything originates. So now, what do you do with it? What do you do with that thing that would imply that you are courageous? You begin to rehearse it. Because it is in the rehearsal of something that you set down a neurological pathway in your brain that will bridge the gap between the invisible and the visible thing. And you will find that you will encounter opportunities. We call them, oh my God, what a coincidence. That's what we call them. And you will find that as you persist in that rehearsal, in that mental rehearsal, and you feel good in it, and you think about it. We complain a lot, right? As people, you complain a lot and see how it makes you feel. And every day we get up and we complain. Every day, ad nauseum, we get up and we complain. We commit to our complaining. And then when this thing happens again, we say, you see, I knew it. And we complain again. So then, the same action that you take to complain is the same mechanism. Well, what is the mechanism? It's in your mind. You talk about it, you feel it, you express it. That is the mechanism. It's in your mind. You talk about it, you feel it, you express it. One more time. It is in your mind. You talk about it, you feel it, you express it. So whether that thing be good, bad, or indifferent, so long as you use that process, it's in your mind, you talk about it, you think about it, you feel it, you express it. The expression is inevitable so long as you do that. Good, bad, or indifferent. So if you know that that's what you do, it's in your mind's eye. Talk about it, you feel it. Well, then I got to express it. Well, then you know the outcome. So choose wisely what you will think about, talk about, feel, because in the end, you will express it. So remember that. Remember it. And then you'll understand where the joy comes from. The joy comes from the knowing and the application of what you know. Anyway, who's here with us today? Well, there's a couple people in these YouTube streets, but nobody said hello in the chat. Well, I'm going to say hello for you anyway. Hey, y'alls. I see you here in these YouTube streets. Facebook and TikTok, I see you. Twitter, oh, it's symmetric. Hey, girl. I see you. It's good to see you. Fan base, who's kicking it with us today? Oh, Sir Real is here in the house. Hey, KZ, Moon, Nikki, darling, Michael, Flo Smiles. Oh, there, Deborah. I see you. Michael, but this is it, right? Then, so that line, that movie line or the song has left an impression upon you so that every time you feel a particular way, that song comes to mind because it was, right? So that's why it's like one of those things, it's left an impression on you, which means it impacted you so much, it carved out a neurological pathway in your brain in an instant. Like it just really moved you. Like that line from The Matrix, don't think you are, know you are. And I'm like, ah, oh my God, right? So it's like absolutely amazing. So when you recognize that everything we encounter leaves an impression on us to some degree, others more than, some more than others, then because we know that, we become cognizant of what we allow to leave an impression upon us. Right? So, oh, I just love it. I do. Anywho, let me get the chime because I know that little Pookie, he's gonna start singing any minute now. I don't know. He might still be asleep though. He might still be asleep. And those two rascals are sleeping on the stairs. Oh, they're sleeping on the stairs. And I'm like, that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. The high ground. Because that's what she's teaching him, yes? The high ground. Or that's what she's teaching Popcorn, to go to the high ground. Anyway, let me get the chime. And as you hear the chime this glorious, glorious Tuesday, we count it all joy. Indeed, we do, because we know something, and that which we know, we apply deliberately. One moment, please. Countdown initiated. 5, 3, 2. Come on, big fella. There it is. Much love to each and every one of you today. Oh, look. Hey, Monique. How you doing, sweetness? It's good to see you here in these YouTube streets. Now that we're all done. Oh, my word. It's good to see you, darling. It really is good to see you. Um, Listen, go through this day and know and apply what you know. Okay? We don't just hear, we do. Yes? I do love you. And I'll see you on the morrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Fanbase, and Twitter, if you want to hang out with us at the crack of dawn. Because I know a little bit he likes it. See? Now he's relaxing for a little bit. Crazy. But that's my baby, always on cue, always on point. Anyway, I'll see you on the morrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out. Well, Monique, darling, you'll have to catch the replay and slide into my DMs and let me know if you have any questions, okay? Much love to you.